Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the channel. This is RED DISSECTION breaking down Manchester United away draw to Bournemouth FC at the Vitality Stadium. True to form, United were totally dismantled, dominated, especially in the first half. Bournemouth should have taken a larger lead. United scored one goal. That was a fluke goal by Bruno Fernandes. There was no build-up. It was a messy goal. Maybe a foul in the build-up as well on Dominic Solanke. But United should have been like 5 or 6-1 down at halftime. They were completely and thoroughly outplayed, outclassed, outmaneuvered, outpressed. Not a single player looked like they belonged in the Premier League at this level. They looked like championship players, or even worse than championship players. Especially the forward players, they were completely devoid of any idea, any kind of quality on the ball, and even off the ball movement was horrendous. Any one of them or all three of them should have been hooked off at halftime. Garnacho was the sacrificial lamb. He deserved to be subbed, but certainly no more than Højlund or Rashford. And listening to the post-match comments by Erik Ten Hag, seemed like he was the sacrificial lamb. He was hung out to dry by the manager, and this is how shallow the manager is. He just wants to bounce off and evade any kind of accountability or even questions or criticism about his team and his organization or lack of organization of the team. This is one more reason to add to a litany of reasons why he should have been given the boot, early on in the season. But obviously, we know this new dispensation is not going to take any decision before the summer, and until then, we just have to endure these kind of performance. I don't see us getting up the table. I think we might sink lower than this, or eventually end up around 8th or 9th, or even in the bottom half of the table. There is no guarantee that we're going to finish in the top half of the table. Certainly, looking at the quality of football that we're putting out and dishing out every week, I don't think we deserve any higher than 14 to 15. And I think that is the true representation and true position that we have garnered this season. And I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. We got a fortunate draw even in this match. And I think there's still more humiliating occurrences and happenstances that are going to happen the longer this season goes on. Looking at the statistics, it is a familiar story. We conceded 20 more shots. Yeah, they had loads of opportunity. The statistics say they had 3 big chances, but I can assure you there were a lot more opportunities for them to score. They missed easy chances on the goal. Obviously, the two they scored, Onana should have saved both of them. Apart from errors, individual errors from Kambwala and Garnacho on the goals, Onana was also culpable in letting them go easily under his hand. Both the goals should have been saved. And I think more than the stats, I think the eye test would show you that we were thoroughly outplayed, especially in this first half. I think if they're more clinical, I think they should have taken an unassailable lead, and we certainly would have gotten those lucky breaks that we did with Bruno getting that penalty. It was an iffy penalty, but obviously we'll take it. Obviously, they could have gotten another penalty as well. Or I think the referees made the right decision, the VAR. It was slightly outside the box, but Kambola was completely found out at this level. I think his performance against Liverpool was good, but there is a lot to be desired. Still learning his trade, and if the experienced players and veterans like Casemiro, Marcus Rashford are putting out those kind of performances, I don't have any hope from the young lad as well. Obviously, Andro Nana, we've discussed his mistakes. His build-up was atrocious as well. He's just not good enough. His play overall hasn't been good enough. His shot-stopping ability is invisible. He doesn't stop any kind of shots, especially underneath him. I mean, he's abysmal at getting down low and saving those opportunities. Should never be allowed to go in, and that's a big problem. I think we're going to continue shipping in a lot more goals. Because Onana is not going to save them. Diogo Dalot was horrendous. Defensively, he was done inside and out several times. He was slow to the ball on the possession as well. He was involved because we weren't playing from that side. I think we were attacking from the left hand side. The little we did, it was another of those performances that we know that Dalot can bring to the table, and that is a problem. He's not consistent, especially in the best season that he's had with us. Defensively, he's still leaving so much to be desired. So many frailty in this game, and this was another proof of that. Willie Kombola, less said is better for him. The more I analyze and investigate his performance, I think the more criticism that I'll come up with. I think he's a young lad. He was thoroughly outmuscled and outplayed and bamboozled by Dominic Solanke, and I think it was a tough lesson for him. And we can expect the young players to be inconsistent, and I think I'll jot that down as one of those performances, and we'll give him. I think we'll have to cut him some slack, especially with the lack of availability of other experienced defenders for now. I think he's going to start. So let's encourage him and help him keep his confidence going forward in the season. Harry Maguire was clearly the man of the match. He was acting like a leader that we never saw when he had the armband on him for a few seasons under Ole. I think he was a rock at the back. He was making interceptions in the air. He won literally everything. He dominated Solanke physically, but obviously his lack of pace was exposed a couple of times. But I think he made up well for those frailties. I think it was an accomplished performance from Maguire. Aaron Saka was blunt going forward, absolutely clueless. Didn't know what to do in the box. He was bombing on quite regularly because we were attacking from that side. But productivity-wise, he didn't bring anything to the table. Obviously, he was playing behind Rashford, who is a mummy who cannot move. He walks in a treacle, and he's abysmal. So I don't expect any partnership fledgling there, and I think he's not helped by Marcus Rashford because he never tracks back. Defensively, I thought he was decent, so not the worst player on the pitch. Casemiro was absolutely atrocious in the first half. In the second half, a bit better. I think we were able to restrict the movement of the midfielders, and Casemiro was playing a lot more disciplined. But the rate of deterioration that we're seeing in his game, the disintegration of any kind of poise in his game is shocking to see, and it is just sad to see him like this. I think this would be his last season. He just doesn't have the legs to compete at this level in this league, particularly. And I think we got the best Casemiro that we could ever get after coming from Real Madrid in the first season. I think his second season has shown that he's well over his prime and certainly not good enough at this level. Kobe Mano continues to disappoint. A chain of performances that has completely opened our eyes to the hype that has been created around him. He's certainly not as good as the hype has been advertised with him. He has so many frailties and so many foibles and so many deficiencies in his game. He's 19 and he looks his age, and certainly he's nowhere near the kind of teenager that we have seen in this club. Certainly, and he has poise on the ball, but physically he just lacks a kind of maturity, muscle maturity maybe, or even experience, a kind of know how to suss out any danger, especially in midfield, and he leaves a lot to be desired as well. Nacho was the worst player in the first half, with Hoyland and Rashford, of course, but I think he was especially bad because his mistake led to the first goal from Solanke. He looked off pace. His first touch is always atrocious. He remained the same even in this match. He looked tired. He looked leggy. He wasn't tracking back. He couldn't bother. Even on the goal that we conceded due to his mistake, he never crossed the halfway line even after giving away the ball, and that seems to be running rampant across the team. The likes of Rashford, Bruno, they do the same as well. Bruno not in this match for sure, but obviously Bruno does that often. And Garnacho, I think the infection has gotten to him, and I think he's getting too comfortable for his position because he knows that we don't have enough quality to replace him. I mean, we know that we have Ahmad to replace him, but obviously Anthony wasn't there, and the manager obviously is not going to start with Ahmad. So a bad performance from Garnacho. Bruno Fernandes, I think this was one of his better performances this season. Not because of a great amount of quality on the ball. He got the 2 goals, good finishes. It was his perseverance and tenacity that he showed, which was severely lacking from the rest of the first team. Apart from him and Maguire, I didn't see anybody even putting 50% of their physical capacity and hard work. And I think it paid dividends for him. He got the 2 goals. He could have another with a lovely strike that hit the crossbar. So decent performance for Fernandes. Marcus Rashford, he was invisible. He is like a black mark on the academy, on the team. He doesn't even show up for the matches. It's like we're playing with 10 men. He's not built for contact sports, let alone football. But I think any contact sports, he shies away from any kind of contact. I think COVID is still in his mind. He tries to run away from the ball, like he's got COVID on it or something. And I think it's just funny and comical at this point that the manager still gives him 90 minutes after the shambolic performances that he keeps on producing day in and day out. Him and Hoyland get 90 minutes without any accountability, without any questions asked, and that's just a travesty for the club and the academy. Rasmus Hoyland continues to disappoint. I think it was just a purple patch that we got in late last season, early this season. I think he's shown that he's not good enough at at this level of football. He has so many deficiencies, so many lacunae in his game. I mean, his first touch, his physicality. I don't see him having the right technique to even run, and he is outpaced and outmuscled by even mediocre defenders that Bournemouth has, and it was completely tragic to see him. And the amount of times and at the frequency that he lost the ball with easy tackles on the defenders, really didn't offer any kind of resistance to the defense and any kind of threat or danger, and they were just happy to take the ball off of him like taking a candy from a kid. And it was a really eye-opening performance for me because I've been giving him some benefit of the doubt. You cannot make excuses for these kind of performances against a bottom half side. I just a side that conceded 55 goals as well. I don't see the quality that we certainly need at this club. Coming to substitutions, obviously starting with Amad Diallo, I thought he disappointed. I think he got the full second half to make an impact. He made an early impact, was dribbling with the ball, not losing balls to easy tackles. But the more the time went on, I thought his game deteriorated. He was getting into unnecessary physical altercation with the defenders. He was pushed off the ball too easily, trying to take the ball on his chest. And sadly, we've been wanting to see him get proper amount of time, and he got the full second half. And I don't think he made a case for Erik ten Hag to start him in the next match. And if Anthony is fit in the FA Cup next weekend, I think he'll certainly start over him. Mason Mount shouldn't be at the club. He shouldn't be in the team. He shouldn't be in the squad. But with the likes of Rashford and Højlund stinking up the gaff, I think he should be given a proper start. I think in the FA Cup, I don't see him starting because of the obstinacy of the manager. But we have to see him start, at least to be proven correct about his transfer, about him being complete misfit at this club, and him carrying that number 7 shirt is a travesty and certainly a black mark for the manager and for the people who got the transfer done. The manager, he was schooled again by IRAOLA. It was abysmal the way we were dominated at Old Trafford. I think this was even worse. In the first half, we should have been 5 goals down, or at least conceded 4 goals. Clear-cut opportunity that they missed. We got a fluke goal with Bruno Fernandes, but we conceded straight after. To add to the misery that we see on the pitch, he was so quick to put Garnacho under the bus in his post-match comments. He's a coward that we have seen. He's a dimwit and he's a nitwit. These kind of men are actually a black mark on men. Their civil lack of masculine traits. He doesn't deserve to be at the club or at any club at this rate. There are several Dutch managers that we have seen over the last few years that are stealing a living just on reputation. We're definitely the worst coach side in the league, or even in the top 2 leagues. I think any championship side would give a better fight to Bournemouth than we did. There's no way, I don't think, that he survives the cut in the summer, and the sooner that comes, the better for us. We're 10 points behind Aston Villa and Tottenham Hotspur. Villa play on Sunday against Arsenal, so they might not get any more points, and they might not be able to stretch the lead this time around. We've been leapfrogged by Newcastle United today, and they've got much better goal difference. Obviously, they're actually scoring goals and not conceding as much. They're conceding, but not as much as us. I think they deserve it more than us. Even the likes of, I think West Ham deserve to be ahead of us. And even Brighton, I think they've got as much, if not more, injuries than us. But they have a true identity. They have a footballing philosophy that is clear to see for everybody, even against the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool. At Anfield, they stick to their philosophy. They put up a fight against even the best of teams. So I think they should be above us as well. Even Chelsea, they beat us last time around. They dominated us, even though we took the lead in the second half. I think they should be above us. Well. At this rate, we might very well end up being 10th or 12th. And it won't surprise me because the football has been absolutely unwatchable. It's been kryptonite football and absolutely haram. Absolutely and clearly haram. And at HALAL United, that is just not acceptable. Anyway, we'll be back with the Red Pep show before the FA Cup semi-final against Coventry City. Please join us for that. Until then, take care, do good, pray for Palestinians, all the oppressed people all across the globe. Assalamu alaikum.